it's Mrs Ferro again. I hope you enjoyed episode 1 of the English skills and have become super confident in your letter recognition and your alphabet skills. You're assessed on these skills in English at school, so when you come back, keep practicing because we will be assessed on them. Today I fancied something a bit more creative, using our imaginations and exploring expressive writing in the form of poetry. Now, don't sigh and grumble. Most people hear the word poetry and they think it's really tricky. How can I think of rhyming words? Oh, how do I lay it out? Well, today I'm going to take you step by step through speed writing poetry activity, and you'll be a poet even before you know it. I love poetry because you can basically play around with the English language and you can be a rule breaker. You don't even have to use sentences. You can use words, sounds. You don't even have to use punctuation. You can take full stops away and play around with the beat and the rhythm of the poem. You can practice speaking and listening skills and reading skills by performing to your families. And crucially, do you know what? Poetry is a way of expressing our feelings and emotions. And that's really important at this time, that we are writing down how we're feeling and expressing ourselves. So, I did say that poetry is all about rule breaking. There's only one rule today, or two. Rule number 1 is that we're going to lay out our poem using line breaks. I'm just going to pause the video and show you what I mean by that. So what do I mean by line breaks? Well, I've got my poetry book here by my favourite author with some poetry examples in, and I've got a fictional text here, Harry Potter. So if I open it up onto a page, you can see that traditionally in fictional text, we start from the left-hand side and the writing is continuous all the way to the right-hand side, and it's written in paragraphs, okay? In poetry, text is written in line breaks. So you can see here, there is a short sentence, and then the next idea starts on the next line, and the next line, and the next line. And they're grouped together in small verses, or stanzas, as we call them. I'll just show you another example. And this is very small text here. But each line of these stanzas starts with one word, we, and then they start the next line, okay? So we're going to be laying out our poems like this today in stanzas and in line breaks, okay? And I'm going to take you through each step. So they're the only rules, okay? Line breaks, and I'm going to help you line by line to form your ideas. You may want to write it out as a rough draft. That's a practice. That's what I did first. And then you can copy it out neatly, change your ideas and decorate it. You could type it, or you could verbally give your ideas and ask an adult to scribe it for you and support you in writing. Just as a reminder, lots of students will be aware of the program we use at school to support writing called Clicker, and we use a version called Clicker 7. Now, the company, Clicker, have informed schools that it is available to download for free during this time. So I'll hopefully be able to get a link for you somewhere, either post it later on the Facebook site. But Clicker is available for you to download. It's safe to download, just do so with the permission of an adult if you're using a home computer. And actually, you could write out your poem on Clicker. For those of you that don't know, this software reads your writing back to you. It supports you with spelling, and it's amazing. And kids are really, really good at using it in school to support them with their literacy. So just thought I'd remind you, that's free to use at the moment. So let's get started on our poetry. Okay, so the subject of our poems is going to be somebody or maybe an animal. But I want you to close your eyes and think of someone or a pet you have, or an animal you admire, or someone famous perhaps. Close your eyes and try picture that person. There may be someone close to you, there may be someone you just admire. Try have a really clear picture in your mind of who this person is, what they're like, what they like to wear, what they like to do. Okay, once you've got a real big picture in your mind, you could do a brainstorm if you wanted to, but if you're happy to, you can start following the instructions to complete your poem. So we're going to do line by line and just listen as you go along and pause, but don't worry if you make mistakes, because I'll show you can redraft your poem later. So line 1 is going to be the person's name or what you call them. Now, the subject of my poem is actually going to be my cat. So my first line of my poem is going to be Winnie. Now, can you make sure you do a capital letter for the proper noun of their name? And I'm not putting any punctuation, but we are going to use capital letters for proper nouns because it's good practice. There's one rule we're going to keep to today. So Winnie, that's my cat. I'm going to be thinking of my cat as I write the rest of my poem. So make sure you write down the person's name on the first line. The second line, so we're going to drop back down to here, we're going to write one word to describe what they are doing. So my cat loves sleeping. She does this all the time. So you could try think of an ing word, a verb, a doing word. That's your person or your animal does all the time. So we've got line 1 is their name, and then line 2 is their doing word. And we've got 2 lines of our poem so far. Line 3, picture where they are in your image in your head, or where they like to be. So my cat loves to be in her basket. So I'm going to put in her cozy. I'm going to put an adjective to describe the basket. And I'm going to put a full stop on the end here because this is going to be our first stanza. This is what we call like the verses in poems. So my stanza's made up of 3 lines, and I'm going to leave a nice big space here because then my next line is going to start here and my next stanza is going to start here. So far we've got the person, what they're doing, and where they are. So mine reads, Winnie sleeping in her cozy basket. So there's stanza 1. Okay, are you ready? So make sure you've left the line, and then we're going to do lines 4, 5 and 6 all together. And on each line, 4, 5, 6, you're going to think of an adjective to describe this person. So my adjectives to describe my cat Winnie, she is crafty, which means she's a bit naughty but clever at the same time. She's cute, and she's also clever. Now, I've used a poetic technique here. I've started each of my adjectives with the same letter. Some students in year 11 and maybe year 9 who've studied poetry might know what this technique is called when I start each word of in a sentence or a stanza with the same letter. It's called alliteration. So you can come up with adjectives that start with all sorts of different letters, but if you want to be a really clever poet and use alliteration, try think of adjectives that start with the same letter. So I've got crafty, cute and clever. And I want to put a little exclamation mark at the end here to show that my stanza 2 is finished. Okay, so we're going to leave another space for our third stanza, and this is line 7. For line 7, you need to think of a colour that you see or you picture or you associate with this person, which is quite hard. Luckily, my cat has really white fur, so my colour is going to be snow white because I want another adjective before the adjective white. So for line 7, think of a colour that you would associate with your person or animal. I'm just going to quickly number these lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, because this is my draft, I'm going to write it up neat later, so it doesn't matter about having the numbers there. Okay, line 8, still in the same, not leaving a space, so line 8 goes right underneath. Now I want you to write a sound that you hear when you imagine this person, or a sound you associate to this person. So do they sing? Are they loud? Are they quiet? Now, I know that my cat, when she's sleeping, she's softly purring. So Snow White softly purrs. Now, I made a mistake as I was talking there. It's quite hard to talk and write. So I've added my T in there for softly, okay? And then because I'm writing up again, I can do that a little bit more neatly. So Snow White and softly purrs. There's that sound there. purring, and that's an onomatopoeic sound. So it's a word that describes the sound it's making. So if you can include some onomatopoeia in your poem, that's another poetic technique that you've included without you really realising it. And again, I've used, without knowing it, some alliteration again, because both my sentences there start with S and S. And then the final line in this stanza, because all our stanzas have 3 lines so far, is a feeling, an emotion you associate with this person. So do they make you happy? Do they make you excited? Are they adventurous? Okay. Now, it's really easy for my cat. She just quite simply makes me happy because she's gorgeous. There we go. And I'm not going to put any, I might put some ellipsis there, a dot, dot, dot. I fancy doing that. So that's called ellipsis in English, when you put 3 dots in a row to show a pause, to make you think about that person or that animal. Right, I'm going to move this over, and then I've got a new page because I've got big handwriting, and we're leaving a line and we're starting our next stanza, line number 10. For this, can you write the words and I? Okay, just those 2 words, because line 11 is going to be something linked to that. So we've got the connective, and then we've got the pronoun I. Make sure you do a nice capital letter there, okay? And line 11 is going to describe what you're doing in this picture, perhaps with that person or with the animal. So I know something I do constantly when Winnie's in her basket, and I scratch her ears and belly. And I think I'm going to put another exclamation mark there because it's quite a cute and funny one there. Okay, so can you see that? And I scratch her ears and belly. Okay, now this stanza is only going to have 2 lines. We're going to leave a space, and line 12 is going to start a whole new stanza, and this is going to be our final stanza. So line 12, describe your feelings for this person. So I think she is the best cat in the world. She probably isn't, but to me, she's pretty awesome. Okay. Oh, I lied. This isn't the final stanza. We're actually going to leave another line. So that is a stanza with just 1 sentence in it, 1 line in it. Line 13 is going to be separated then. Okay. We're going to repeat line 1, it says, and line number 1, what's my person's name? So I'm going to copy Winnie. And then I'm ready for the final line in my poem, which is this person's relationship to you. Okay, so she's just my cat, but I want to make that a bit more exciting. So I'm going to use some alliteration again and put my cuddly cat. And I'm going to put a little bit of a joke at the end. I'm going to use some brackets to show a little bit of an afterthought. And personal alarm clock. Because my cat always wakes me up in the mornings, so I don't need an alarm clock when I've got Winnie. Okay, so there we go. Let's have a read back and see each stanza as we go. So stanza 1, Winnie sleeping in her cosy basket, crafty, cute, clever. Snow White softly purrs, happy. And I scratch her ears and belly. The best cat in the world, Winnie, my cuddly cat and personal alarm clock. And obviously, because I'm the poet and I didn't quite know it to begin with, I'm going to put my name, as I am the writer of this poem. And I might do a little cat's whisker there. Oh, terrible. Okay, so there's my draft. Okay, that is complete. Now, I can be happy with what I wrote, or I can look back and see if I want to edit things. So, for instance, here, in her cosy, I might add another adjective here and put and warm basket. And then I might read that and see if it suits a better rhythm having extra words, or actually I preferred it before, then I can cross it out. I might even change some of the words, so look for a synonym for the adjective. So I had happy here, But I might change that, and I've looked up in a thesaurus, an online thesaurus, another word for happy is content, which is a new word I've learnt. And actually, I want to use big and impressive words, so I think I'm going to change that word happy, and put content. All right, and then once you've edited it, and you can move lines around as well if you want to, then you're ready to write it up into a neat copy. You can add pictures for each stanza. You can colour it in, really make it special, and then obviously read it to that person to make them smile. I don't know if my cat will appreciate this, but I'll certainly try reading it to her. So there's my poem. The food has nothing to do with the fact that she's sat here. She really liked it. And this is my cat, who's come back to the house covered in black spots, so I don't know where she's been hiding. Did you like it, Winnie? Winnie? Did you like it? Yeah, she says yes. Say bye.